Seems odd, doesn't it? I mean, consultants are hired to tell people about the world around them, about what problems they confront, what opportunities are in front of them, and yet we find they often don't tell the truth. It seems odd to me.
Well, I think it's a bit unfair to say they don't tell the truth. What they perhaps tell is their own truth. It's the truth of the world as they see it. And that's probably because a lot of the times they haven't had bothered to go out and try and discover what the truth actually is.
What strikes me, and as you know, we've spent quite a lot of time talking to people who've been on the receiving end of this, what strikes me is that a lot of consultancies go and try and do policy research with no market research expertise. Or they give communications advice and have no one who's ever worked in the sharp end of journalism. Or they go out and set up sales structures and don't actually have anybody who's ever worked in sales. I mean, it seems glaringly obvious. How do you think it happens?
Well, I think the way that many of the strategy consultancies work is by having very senior people come in and meet the client initially. And in fact, the very senior people might actually know what they're talking about a bit. But then after that point, you don't see the very senior people who are except at the meetings. All the work is done by very junior people who may be very bright, but they lack any kind of experience. So it's very unlikely they're going to generate insights or come to with a really properly open mind to addressing a problem, because they are working within a very constrained framework of they have very limited experience of some of these areas.
Yeah, that's true. The bright young MBAs.
Yeah.
And the other thing that strikes me about those bright young MBAs is that they often haven't really had any training in communicating. So they may have an idea somewhere in their heads, but they're not able to put it on paper. They can't write a report. They produce a set of slides that some clients feel intimidated about admitting simply don't make sense. And so I've run into clients who have paid for a very expensive report and then admit they have no idea what it is the consultant was trying to say.
Yes, that's quite often true. I remember an anecdote about a very senior person from a strategy consulting group who went to run an NGO, and for the first 6 months, many of the staff of the NGO said they didn't have the slightest idea of what he was talking about, because he was talking consultant speak, which is actually a separate language from that which most people, you and I, speak.